Joining us now in studio, one of our NFL analysts, former NFL lineman, Lomas Brown. Lomas, I want to play for you LaShawn McCoy, running back of the Eagles. Have you heard this yet?
No,
about OC? All right, you know he and OC Umenyiora have had a back and forth. This is the most recent stuff on McCoy, talking about the Giants' defensive end.
So every time I would see him, or every time he would see me, I would say something to him to let him know that I don't really like you.
So this is for real?
Yeah, this is for real. Like, I don't like OC. I don't know how he feels. He might think it's a game, but I don't play them type of games. So every time on the field, I would say stuff to him, like, you're the third best defensive lineman on your defense, which I didn't lie. I did lie, because he's like fourth now. So I actually did lie.
How do you feel about stuff like that?
Wow. I mean, that's digging deep. That's taking the knife and not only sticking it in, but that's twisting it. Hey, and he from what I heard from Shady McCoy, he really does mean that, you know, and I know the game of football is a lot of stuff that's said and done on the field, but once the whistle is blown, then you shake hands and everything's all right. But this seems to be personal with him. It really seems to be personal with him.
I was saying to Ryan Lomas, I kind of like a little trash talk. It's fun to talk about. Guys get fired up. But I'll often hear former players say, you know what, there's no need to add fuel to the fire, to which I argue, really, because OC Umenyiora, does he really need LaShawn McCoy trash talk him to get to another level of anger?
Right. I mean, he shouldn't. I mean, you know, you should take the field angry to start with. I mean, it's survive or be dealt with out on the field. And if you don't come out there with the right attitude, then you're going to get eaten up out there on the field. I never was one for, I did talk a little trash, not that much. But, you know, it can only go so far. I mean, it only motivates you so long because you still got the game to play. You still got 60 minutes of ball in front of you. So, I mean, I talk a little trash, so I don't mind it a little bit. But this seems to be more than just trash talking. This seems to be personal, like I said.
Lomas, did you ever have a player you went up against you just didn't like? Hate's a strong word, but just didn't like. Richard Dent, good friend now. But I did not like that young man because he was one of the guys, he would kick your butt, then walk to your sideline and tell everybody on your sideline he kicked your butt. Then he would line back up against you and kick your butt again. He was a guy that me and him always got into a little shoving, a little extra. And then when you play each other twice a year in the same division, man, you got that kind of built up, I wouldn't say hatred because I'm like you, but strong dislike for that guy.
In terms of, I can't imagine Lomas having strong dislike for anybody. You're such a genial personality. Adnan Burke, Ryan Russillo talking with Lomas Brown in the studio with his fresh take. This September, join the Subway Surprise Party because many of your footlong faves are now $5 footlongs. In terms of critical games this week, in the Packers and the Saints, Lomas, you've got a winless New Orleans team against a 1-2 Green Bay team. How do you handicap this?
You know what? New Orleans in trouble. They are. And I say this because they really miss Sean Payton. Sean Payton was my offensive coordinator for 2 years when I was with the New York Giants. And every time we would have a meeting, this is how Sean Payton would conduct the meetings. He would be like, okay, fellas, when we convert this 4th and 15, we're going to do this. Or when we convert this 3rd and 20, you know, and it would be absurd numbers he would say, but he always talked in the contents of when we did this, not if we're going to do this, but when we do this. And when you take such a big and strong personality like that out of the locker room, these guys don't hear from this guy. You know, they don't get his thoughts on what's going on with the season, with the team. Then it's a void. And I really think that void is too big for just Drew Brees to fill in. As we see Joe Vick in there, I don't know just how much better Joe Vick would be than Cromer, who's there now, but it's too much on Drew Brees' shoulder. He can't be the quarterback, the head coach, the motivator, you know, the guy, the offensive coordinator, the guy that makes the game adjustments. It's just too much for him. And Sean Payton, like I say, out of all the head coaches, he has to have one of the biggest I wouldn't like to say, biggest egos out there. I mean, he is a big personality to try to feel.
Lomas, that NFC North division you're talking about, where you're from, essentially with your NFL career, the way you thought of it before the season started and what we've seen now through 3 games, how do you think it's shaken up?
Shocked, very shocked. I'm shocked at how Green Bay is starting. You know, as slow as they're starting, they don't look good on offense, not like they looked last year. They were a machine last year. They're struggling. I look at Minnesota. I didn't think Minnesota would do anything this year. I mean, anything. And now for them to be 2-1 right now, facing the Lions, be a good challenge. And the Lions, I just don't know with the Lions. You don't know what you're going to get. They don't really have their identity. They don't know whether they want to throw the ball 50, 60 times a game or try to put the running back there and run it to him. And they definitely don't use Calvin Johnson enough. And then you look at the Chicago Bears. All I say with the Chicago Bears is Jay Cutler. That's all I need to say about them.
But it's funny because
I won't say nothing else about them.
people criticize him, Lomas, and I understand that his body language is poor and he goes up and down. But you know what? His offensive line does a bad job. I understand why he's
I understand, but now we all in it together, right? It's a football team. We're going to win together. We're going to lose together. We're going to even tie together. But you can't be throwing your guys. I don't care how upset you get. Take it behind closed doors. Chew him out behind closed doors. But don't do it and make a spectacle of it, because that's all we've been talking about with the Bears.
Who do you like in that Packers-Saints game?
Oh, I'm going with the Packers. Like I say, I just think the Saints, they dug themselves a hole. I think they don't have what it takes to be able to get out that hole, which is a head coach that can make adjustments and motivate this team. And I think the Packers really, really need this game if they want to get back to where they want to get at. They need this game.
That's Lomas Brown, weekly visit here at Scott Van Pelt Show. And then Burke and Ron Russillo coming up next. Some of the biggest college upsets. It seems like every week now we had a top 6 team go down. We'll try to rank those and also get you ready for the weekend. It's ESPN Radio.